Hello, Trey Reilly here. Welcome to Band Stuff. Today I'm going to be talking to you about something pretty practical, and that's working with your color guard. I suspect if you're new to marching band, or if you don't have somebody to do all of your color guard work for you, this is probably something that's you're not very familiar with and particularly uncomfortable with. So I'm going to go over 10 things today that can make you look like you have some idea of what you're doing and maybe not look like so much like an idiot when it comes to color guard. And I hope these things have value for today, because I can tell you as a band director that the last thing I looked at a lot of times, most of the time, was the color guard. It was kind of a mental block. And there would be times I'd say, okay, on this run through, I'm watching the color guard. I'm watching the color guard. And so I start out, and then I hear something the band plays that I don't like, or I see a marching part in the band, and I'm right off of it, and I've totally forgotten about the color guard for about 2 minutes. And then I go back, and I'm like, watch the color guard, watch the color guard. So it was a real effort on my part throughout my career to come up with things that I could do to have a positive impact on the color guard. Now, the best thing is to get somebody that can work with them full time, but that's not always possible. And even if you have somebody working with them full time, it's often very helpful for you as the director to know what you're talking about, at least in a limited way. It can have some impact just from the fact that color guard knows that you care, or you know something about what you're talking about, and you give them some suggestions to improve their performance. So here we go. Number 1, check for good posture and proper shoulder angles. Now, I don't have time here to discuss a lot of that, but I did include a link in the description that you can go to, and there's no reason why you cannot learn what it means to have proper posture for a color guard member, and then be able to hold them to that throughout your rehearsals, just like you would any other band member. And one of the things I have in that explanation is the phrase, don't spill the soup. So one thing you can do after you teach them proper posture is this concept of don't spill the soup. And you can just start saying that and feel like you're being brilliant because you're reminding them to have proper posture. So it'll be in the description where I explain what don't spill the soup means. A second thing that you can easily check is to make sure that they are exaggerating their motions for better projection to the audience. Another thing you can observe for is make sure that their flag motions are the same, even if their body positions are different. Number 4, during practices, have the weaker members stand behind the stronger members, so that can help them in learning their routine. But make sure at some point you put them in front of the stronger members to double check and make sure that they really know their routine without having to watch somebody else the whole time. Number 5, have your color guard members use checkpoints to make sure that they're all spinning together. Now, a checkpoint can be whatever you designate it is. It can be certain degrees, it could be hands of the clock. But on every selection that they have, make sure they have something that is their checkpoint that they can use to make sure that the spinning is together. Number 6, make sure the whole line is using the same length pole. 6-foot pole is kind of the going pole at this point. Ultimately, the size of your pole is going to be determined by the size of the flag. And just check with experts to make sure you have the proper pole to go with whatever flag that you've selected to use. Number 7, where you're writing the drill or you're having something right for you, avoid just putting the guard in the back of the band and kind of planting and spinning back there. Integrate them into the drill. Make them an important part of what's going on with the rest of the band. Adds a lot of color, improves the visual, and your judges will like it too, because you know your judges are going to be looking for integration of those elements along with the band. Number 8, remember that many times simpler is better. It would be a lot more effective for your line to do a simple routine that they can do together and is very, very accurate than one that is too difficult for them and that they can't get together. Try to find a good mix, because on the simple side you don't want to have too much repetition. So kind of balance that difficulty out with the lack of repetition. Try to get an interesting routine together and just keep it simple enough that they can do it effectively. Number 9, and I know this one can be kind of difficult, but really work hard to make sure that the equipment changes that you have are written into the drill. And work very hard to make the transitions of those equipment changes as smooth as you can, because it really looks bad to see members of the band having to step on or over equipment during the show, or to see your color guard scurrying along the sideline trying to do all of their changes. It really adds to positively the effect of the show if you can get those transitions and equipment changes done as smoothly as possible. And finally, number 10, one thing you can do, whether you know next to nothing about color guard or you know everything about color guard, is to consistently acknowledge to your color guard members their value to the band, build them up, because there's really a tendency for the color guard to kind of just seem separate and not included with what's going on. So be sure to acknowledge the work that they put in, be as positive as you can with them, because it's really easy a lot of times just to say negative things, and those things can really pile up. So be positive and recognize their value to the group, and make sure the rest of the group knows their value as well.